Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next short attention span webinar. Kelly, this one, we're going to step into the DeLorean and go back many years and talk about just about 1985, actually, when I first learned about this thing called the 20-to-1 ratio and its
Mm-hmm.
relevancy. And this is something that I've kind of put on you as well, and I've heard you quote this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the 20-to-1 ratio, very simple, is it talks about the cost of buying a printed piece and the cost of using the printed piece. So that third bullet point right there, for every dollar your client spends on buying it, they spend $20 using it. Now, Kelly, why is this relevant to us as print salespeople?
Well, because again, because we want to focus on being, trusted advisors and people that bring new ideas. This is where we're really going to have a conversation with them about the purpose behind the piece and understanding the big picture. That we're not just order takers. That we don't just say, oh, you're paying $1, I can get it for you for 99 cents. But again, we put ourselves in a very different position and have a very different conversation with a whole different set of people within an organization when we decide to go after, as you say, Bill, go after the $20 area. Because
Mm.
obviously, addressing the $20 area and having them experience cost reductions or experience any kind of change in the $20 area has a heck of a lot more significance than attacking the $1 area.
And we used to say, I remember when I first learned about this, we'd say to the customer, look, supposing I could save you 10%, where would you want me to save you 10%? In the $1 area or the $20 area?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, and that was the thing, that the client would then say, well, something like, well, what's in that $20 area? But obviously, they'd rather save $2 than 10 cents.
Yep.
The idea here, again, is every cost associated with that printed piece from the minute it comes into receiving to the minute it goes out or gets thrown out or gets shipped out with product, everything that goes into it. So if your customer is buying 100,000 data sheets and marketing 3 months later changes the product and they have to throw out the data sheets, that waste goes into that $20 area. If they have to store it, if they have to ship it, if they've got to FedEx it, as you'll see in just a second, anything that goes into that, all right, it matters because everybody is focusing on the $1 area. We want you to think about that $20 area. And we used to sell a lot of digital print. Kelly, I think this is probably one because I know a former client of mine. This is when you and I first connected, right? We talked about the
Mm-hmm.
20-to-1
Absolutely.
back when you thought I was wicked smart, and now you know better. Let me give you an example, gang, because I remember this vividly from years ago. I get a call from a client who said, "Can you come in and talk to me about this big manufacturer out in Chicago?" And the customer had said to the sales rep, "We buy at the absolute lowest price. You'll never beat our price on this thing, ever, ever, ever." And so I happened to be in Chicago. I was coming out to Chicago anyway, and we went out. We visited with this gentleman. He was adamant. We were allowed to walk around and learn the story behind the printed piece. And what we found was that the they were printing it and storing it in Chicago, but their outlying warehouses and sales offices were ordering this stuff, but they were waiting till the last minute, so it all had to get ordered via FedEx. So the shipping manager is just cranking these boxes and boxes and boxes out next day air, next day air, next day air. And they were spending thousands of dollars shipping something that should have been printed and shipped locally. So that $20 area, it was full of waste in terms of spending too much on shipping. And we went back, and this is the cool part, we went back and we proposed that we would have the jobs printed locally. It was all on an Indigo, printed locally and shipped for free. And the interesting thing, Kelly, is that the purchase price went up.
Sure.
Okay, so that $1 area went up to like $1.30, but the
Mm-hmm.
$20 area came down. And because the customer could see that, they were willing to spend more because they could see the total package. So that's the idea. So, Kelly, how do we find out what's in that $20 area?
Well, again, this is all about asking good questions. This is all about understanding. It's again the difference between a company calling you and saying, "I need you to quote me on 100,000, 4 over 4 brochures," and you go, "Okay," Or you say, tell me about these pieces. What do you use them for? What's the purpose? How are they stored? Where do they reside? Who uses them? You ask all these questions about what the piece is actually for. How do you know this piece is successful? What do you hope to gain from producing this piece? And then things like, roughly speaking, how many do you think you throw away? How often does this information change? And that leads you down the path of being able to really attack the $20 area with things like perhaps a web store where they order it on demand, or versioning. Any number of different things can really address that. And then, Bill, I know we've both told stories like this before where you walk into a very large organization, go into the area where they store all of their print materials, and realize when we went in to take over one of those areas as a facilities manager and filled up 3 dumpsters
Yeah.
full of printed material. And so not only does that represent a tremendous investment in cost to the organization over time, but there's also, today, folks, we are so much more concerned about the environment and the impact of that kind of stuff too. It's just irresponsible. So we really want to focus on all of the reasons that our solutions can solve some of these issues, make them better, address them, and again, attack that $20 area, reduce it, and make it so that they're doing things more efficiently, smarter, faster, better.
And that is the 20-to-1 ratio. Again, for every dollar your clients spend on any given printed piece, they are spending an average of $20 using it. And that is the theory. Learn the story behind the printed piece, come up with the best print solution. This will, and if you do it right, there is no price objection. That's the best kind of objection ever, right? The one that doesn't ever happen.
Yep.
So, all right, Kelly, thanks very much. Well done
Thanks,
today.
Bill.
And we'll talk to you all in the next short attention span webinar.